How to fix all AIOSEO plugin errors. That's what I'm going to show you in this video. I have prepared a list of essential steps to fix any and all errors within WordPress. I will show you several ways to solve the problem you are facing without having to waste your time searching all over the internet. Everything you need I will deliver to you here and now, easily. And most importantly, you don't need any experience for this. Here's a very important step that you cannot neglect. Use good website hosting. 90% of the problems we encounter on WordPress sites are always related to the hosting company. In some cases, the PHP version is out of date. In other cases, PHP does not have an extension allowed or features are missing. Therefore, we recommend Hostinger servers so that you can use PHP in your hosting company, regardless of which country in the world you are in. They have multi-language support, and they serve the entire world. They have a specific plan for WordPress with management, and it is one of the best plans for WordPress. We tested several sites within these plans. From the initial plan, you can host from 100 websites, and they are compatible with absolutely everyone. All the plugins we have tested to date, we have not found any plugin that does not work within the Hostinger environment. They also have a system within the panel to check viruses within WordPress installations, make updates within the panel, and check plugin compatibility, which will help you resolve most problems. There's a link in the description, and if you're purchasing an annual plan or longer, use our link to support our channel. One very important thing, as Rotchinger has a money-back policy if you don't like the product, you can simply do the following. By hosting from Rotchinger, install a WordPress site. Install all the themes and plugins you have on your current website. Check if it will work. If it works, you know the problem is with your website hosting and it's time for you to migrate. All you have to do is bring your website to Hostinger. Even Hostinger does the migration for you free of charge. All you have to do is join one of their plans. I recommend Cloud Startup for sites that need more performance, and call the support team and they will help you with the migration process. Before making any changes, you must back up your environment. It is very important to have a backup of your website. Even if it has a problem, make a backup of the website to its current state. You can ask your hosting company's support team, or you can hire Hostinger, link in the description, and you can have their automatic backup. Backing up on the Hostinger panel is very simple to do. I'm going to teach here, and almost every hosting company is the same. Within your hosting company's dashboard, you go to Files, and you will have the Backups option. Coming here to the Backups option, I can click on Create New Backup. I come to Select. It warns me that it will overwrite the previous backup. Continue, and it starts creating my backup. I have to wait until this backup is complete, so I can start making the changes that will fix the problems with the plugins and themes within my website. Okay, backup completed. Now you can go to your website, make the necessary changes. If you have a problem, it's very simple to restore the backup. You can come here to restore the website. Select the date of the backup you made. Click on Restore, and it carries out the entire process. This said hosting. If you are using another hosting company, just contact technical support and they will help you resolve the issue and perform a restoration if necessary. This is the first step to solving problems. In fact, if you have a problem and don't have any new information on the site, you can try restoring old backups to see if it fixes the problem you're getting. A more advanced way to identify errors in WordPress is to use WP Debug. Let's enable this feature within WordPress. In your hosting panel, go to Files, File Manager, and access your hosting's file manager. Access the public HTML folder. Inside the public HTML folder, look for the WP config file. Double-click on it to open the editor, and we'll scroll to the end of the file. Before the last line, we will add 3 lines of code to define the debug. These are 3 lines of code that I just pasted. These lines of code will activate the debug and will save the log file in a folder that I will show you. Let's save the file. To close, now your log will be inside the WP content folder, and a file called debug.log will be created every time WordPress throws an error. I don't have any files in here because my WordPress doesn't have any errors. So that's why I don't have anything in the folder. It's clean. But if my WordPress had any error, the debug.log file would be created here, and I could look inside the log to see what is causing this error. Increase PHP memory. This is a step that solves most cases of problems with plugins, especially cases of instability, when the site goes on and off. Let's go. Coming to your hosting company's dashboard, you can click here on Advanced PHP Configuration, and you will land on this screen. You go to PHP Options. You will go down to the option that talks about PHP memory. Here I have it set to 512 megas. I can change it to 1024. Keeping in mind that my plan has 3 gigs. Incredible, 3 gigs of RAM. I can change, for example, to 1024, come down here, save, and this step, after a few seconds, can completely change the performance of your website, including making several plugins that were stopping working due to the use of PHP are available on your website. Excessive memory or not excessive, just the necessary usage, get them back up and running. So, check with your hosting company if your plan has memory values greater than 1 gigabyte. 1024 gigabytes. Ideally, plans should have more than that because PHP is just one of the parts that will use your hosting's memory. In some cases, simply clearing the cache solves problems within WordPress. So what are we going to do? By clicking here next to the refresh button, we go to Site Settings. Go to Delete Data, delete the data, reset the permissions, and reload the page. But instead of clicking the reload button, I'm going to press it on the keyboard. Control and the F5 key so that I can do a reload without cache. Once this is done, the page will be reloaded without using the cache, and if I have any problems caused by the cache, it will be resolved. Now let's move on to the solution, where we will change taxes. In many cases, restoring taxes to the WordPress default resolves most issues. However, it is important to pay attention to the following. If you use a caching plugin within WordPress, you must deactivate the plugin first. If your WordPress isn't even loading, then yes, you can change taxes first and later disable the cache plugin. Most caching plugins change the WordPress taxes file. Let's go. I'm going to open my hosting panel again. I'm going to come to the File Manager. Go to the File Manager and look for the current taxes of my website in public.html. I will look for the taxes file. It is here. The first thing I should do is create a copy of it. So I go to Copy File, select the current folder I'm in, copy, and it will create another taxes for me outside of public.html. Another method for you to make a backup is also to simply right-click and turn taxes into a zip file, for example, and then you will have your zip in case you need to restore. Okay, let's open taxes. Notice that my taxes is completely changed. These changes are due to my Lightspeed cache plugin. It makes changes, but the original WordPress Taxes doesn't look like this. In the official WordPress documentation, we can see the original appearance of Taxes. In an error situation, you can copy the content, paste the new content inside Taxes, and save the file. This will help you test whether your website will work again or not. If the site does not work again, restore the file as it was, and the file does not work again. Let's go to the next step. One way to fix problems is also by changing the permissions of the folders where your plugin was installed. In many cases, a person unzips a zip file directly into the WordPress folder where the plugin is located. And this changes the permissions and folder owner, causing critical errors within WordPress. Let's go back to our hosting company's dashboard. I came to Files, File Manager, access our File Manager, our File Manager, go to Public HTML, access WP Content, go to the Plugins folder, and here we find all the plugins installed within WordPress. Note that they have specific folder permissions. This is the folder permission pattern within the web. If your directory is not with these permissions, you can right-click, you can come to Permissions, and change the permissions. Note that the permission is 755. If I check any box, I change the permissions. The default is 755. Check the recursive, directories, and files option and click Update. Important: if you want to keep the original state of the folder, before making the change, you can right-click, come to Archive, select the file format, and it will create a backup for you with the original state. Here the permission is different, but within this zip file, the permissions remain the same as they are on your screen. Time is money. If you need a team to solve problems with your applications, your infrastructure, and your web application, contact us. The link in the description has our calendar open to the public with hours and days that you can select. Check out and receive our exclusive service from a bunch of technology-mad people for a client who needs it. Your time is worth a lot to us. If you don't want to, that's okay. Just watch the video until the end, and I'm sure you'll be able to solve your problem. If you want to make money solving WordPress problems, there's a link in the description that will take you to the best training there is. I want you to think about the following. What do you think is most likely? That someone pays you $1,000 for a website that they don't even know if they need? Or that someone who already has a website working and has a problem pays you $1,000 to solve it? Solve problems with tools that already exist. It is a huge and little explored market. You have the opportunity to work on the urgency, the need of businesses that are already active. Click on the link in the description, and I'm sure you'll like it. Let's go, guys. If you managed to solve your problem in one of the other steps in this video, I will now teach you how to contact AIOSEO specialized support through WordPress.org. Beauty? Let's go. I'll leave the link to this page here in the first pinned comment. You will enter it, log into your WordPress.org account, and click on support within this page that I left in the first link. Beauty? Entering the support page, we will create a topic, which is nothing more than a support ticket that you will send to the AIOSEO support team. Let's put a title here, put the link to your website, and now the master key that we separated for this video here for you, which is a little tip that I will also leave in the first pinned comment, which will make your life a lot easier, and it will also make life much easier for the programmer who will help you solve your problem. Let's go. I'm going to put it here and explain it to you. Firstly, what we are going to enter is the hosting company that you are using within your environment. Basically, what we're going to do here is describe what your environment is like, what you have running in it, and what error you're getting. By giving the correct information to the programmer, this will greatly speed up the process of discovering the error so that he can help you resolve this error as soon as possible. The first thing we will add is the hosting company you are using. Then, the version of your PHP, also the version of your WordPress, and the version of the plugin you're trying to run, which is causing the error here in this case, is AIOSEO. Remembering that all the information I am putting here is nothing more than an example to illustrate to you what you should to do. But you don't need to follow, nor should you follow what I'm putting here. They're just an example. Okay. Put the things that are in your environment on your website. Let's go. Finishing placing the versions. You will place here all the plugins that are installed and active within your website, because this could be causing some type of interference and causing the error you are receiving. Okay. If you have some type of caching plugin, remember to mention it separately and make it clear whether it is active or not at the time you are receiving this error. In the previous steps, I taught you how to activate WP Debug, and if WP Debug has shown any information that could be useful to the developer, I recommend that you also include it within the support message. Okay. Finally, what we're going to do is add 2 little sentences. The first, explaining what you were trying to do and how it was supposed to work. It is the next, the message that explains what you were trying to do and what the error is and how this error is appearing to you. Okay. And that's it. You don't need to write anything else in this part of the message body. Now we're going to put some tags just to give them some guidance so they can understand what error is happening. What is the meaning of this topic you're sending them? Okay. Now, before we send it, there are some boxes you can check here. You only mark these first 2 if they really make sense with what you wrote in the topic. Otherwise, you don't need to mark them. I recommend checking the final box, as it will notify you by email when your ticket has been answered. You can now submit it. But before that, I will ask you to be very careful and always write this message in English, because English is the most used language throughout the world and the main language used on the internet. So whenever you write some type of message like this, to facilitate and speed up the entire process, we can help with support and write it in English. Okay, you can submit now. You will have contacted their support directly, and that's it. You just need to wait for them to respond. The video will end here. Thanks. Said it.